segment of today's show, obviously before the Amari Cooper thing just happened, was the DeVante Adams trade to the New York Football Jets. Early this morning, about 10 o'clock this morning, the Jets have finalized a trade for DeVante Adams for a third-round pick, and it could potentially turn into a second-round pick depending on snaps, yardage, playoff pitcher, yada, yada, yada. So we've been hearing this for a long time, that DeVante Adams wanted to link up with Aaron Rodgers. They wanted to reunite and make that magic happen again. And now they finally get their wish. Now, the Jets did just come off a loss on Monday Night Football to the Buffalo Bills, 23-20. A game that they very could have won. But when we look across the landscape, when we look at the New York Jets in general, I got to think about this question. I have to ask this question to you people out there. Does DeVante Adams to the New York Football Jets make them better? Seriously, do the Jets right now all of a sudden become a playoff caliber team? Do they become a Super Bowl caliber team? Do they become a team that could have won last night? And truth be told, guys, DeVante Adams does not help the New York Jets at all. He does not. He does not help the New York Jets at all, because the real issue in New York is not the receiving core. The real issue is not the defense in New York. The real issue is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the real issue in New York. So adding DeVante Adams, cool, whatever, make him happy, let him stay for another year or two and just be a miserable franchise yet again for a couple more seasons. But the real issue in New York is Aaron Rodgers. Guys, Aaron Rodgers is consistently making bad decisions. He's consistently missing throws. He's consistently underthrowing people. Let's think about this. Last night, they had the opportunity to hit Mike Williams on that little fly post route when he called it the red line route, right? And if he just would have put a little bit more mustard on that ball, we would be having a totally different conversation today. How great Aaron Rodgers is, how great the New York Jets are. But the simple fact of the matter is he missed the pass. He underthrew it, he threw it behind him, and he just didn't have the mustard on it to really be an elite quarterback anymore. So not only did he underthrow Mike Williams to end the game, he got Mike Williams hurt. Mike Williams slid to come back for the ball. The Bills safety, which is Johnson, comes up and punches him right in the head. And bada bing, bada boom, Mike Williams is probably out for next week versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. So obviously the DeVante Adams trade is there simply to make Aaron Rodgers happy. It is there to make Aaron Rodgers happy. The Jets give up yet another third-round pick to bring in somebody that is potentially past their prime. Now, I have not watched DeVante Adams closely the last 2 seasons because he's been on an irrelevant team. I don't know if he still has it. I don't know where he is at, to be honest. I really do not know where he is at on his playing ability. So, with that being said, guys, the real issue in New York is Aaron Rodgers. It was not the receiving core. It was not anything but hocus pocus at the end of the day. And something just happened. So I'm trailing thought here. So hopefully everything is still good to go. I'm not for sure. But with that being said, guys, do you guys think that the addition of DeVante Adams to New York officially makes the Jets a playoff team? Does the addition of DeVante Adams stunt the growth of Garrett Wilson? Does the addition of DeVante Adams make that offense better? And I'm going to tell you, no, it does not make the Jets better. Yes, it stunts the growth of Garrett Wilson because now him and Aaron Rodgers can't get on the same page and he can't really explode like he once did, right? And truth be told, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has it anymore. Bring in Zach Wilson at this point. So let's go ahead and jump into the comments here, guys. We're talking about the DeVante Adams trade, about how great it is, or potentially great. But we got my man John in the chat. What's up, John? Hope you're having a grand old day. And Jim Powell, Adams knows his worth at least. He ain't him. So let's talk about that, Jim. Because I literally read a report last night in the middle of the Monday Night Football game that teams were not meeting the expectations of the Las Vegas Raiders for DeVante Adams. We see now that it is a third-round pick that could potentially trade into a second-round pick. So you are telling me that no team out there was willing to give up a third-round pick besides the New York Jets? This tells me one thing and one thing only, that DeVante Adams was in the Las Vegas Raiders' ears and just be like, hey, I'm not going anywhere unless I go to the New York Jets. I'm not going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to go to the Buffalo Bills. I'm not going to Steelers. I'm not going to Dallas. The only place I want to go is New York. And if you want this organization intact a little bit more while I'm still here, you are going to let me go to the New York Jets. I mean, obviously DeVante Adams at one point with Aaron Rodgers was a top receiver in the NFL. He had great route running, doesn't really have that great breakaway speed, but he is big, he is strong, and he's precise on his routes. Can he do that in New York? Potentially. What is his worth? Obviously a third-round pick. Do you think DeVante Adams really cares about what his worth is as long as he got out of Las Vegas? I don't know. Pepe says, did Saleh get hosed? Yeah, he got fired last Wednesday. He definitely got fired. He is out. Kaylee says, no, they just need to let go of Aaron Rodgers. It's always been Rodgers' way or no way. Exactly. And to be honest, like at what point in your career do you become this type of person? Like, oh, I want this, and this, and this, and this. If you don't give it to me, I am out. Like at what point in your NFL career or your professional career or work career that do you become that way? Because I was working at a company here for, 7 years now. And I've never been that way. Like if they want to bring new people in it, like it is what it is. Like at what point do you get to be like, no, it's my way or the highway? Is it when you turn 40? Laura says, nope, the team isn't a team. They are playing individually. They are not one whole unit. Rodgers is the problem, as always has been, even in Green Bay. Laura, I think you nailed it right there on the top. I think you nailed it. Even last night when everything was clicking for the New York Jets, right? They just didn't seem to be having very much fun. Jim Powell says, Aaron Rodgers is literally Martell from the Replacements. Starting to seem that way. And Pepe says, to me, the problem is the Jets' offensive line. They got turned up. DeVante isn't going to help him. Exactly. Aaron Rodgers took, 4 huge sacks last night. And everybody was ranting and raving that they got Tyron Smith from the Dallas Cowboys. They got Moses. They got all these extra old-ass linemen, and it was going to protect Aaron Rodgers and make him great and do everything. But when you only have 3 seconds to throw the ball, yeah, it's great when you're nickel and diamond down the field, but when you want to push the ball down the field, sometimes Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson like to do, your old line's got to hold up just a little bit. And that's what I said, the real issue in New York is Aaron Rodgers. He needs time to survey the field. Maybe he needs some cataract surgery. I don't know. Maybe he's not seeing the field as well. The truth is he doesn't have the arm strength anymore like he used to. I don't know if he didn't work out last season when he was injured and was just simply worried of trying to get back, and he lost that arm skill that he had, the arm talent. Right? I know some people don't like to use that word, but arm talent is a real thing, and Aaron Rodgers just doesn't have it anymore. It is what it is. Pepe says DeVante went to play with Carr and got bait and switched. That's when DeVante told the Raiders, I can bait and switch too. It seemed like DeVante was never happy in Vegas. Let's just be honest. When the Raiders came in to Arrowhead Stadium, I believe it was DeVante's second year, and he punched that cameraman in the face, it seemed like to me like that was kind of the beginning of the end for DeVante Adams in a Raiders uniform. He was not happy. He just wasn't buying into that black and silver culture. Let's just be honest. When you are a Raider, you ultimately get labeled as this thug, as this grungy, grinded out type of player. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Max Crosby thrives in it, right? There are other players out there that thrive in that culture out there that used to be the Oakland Raiders, which that's probably what they need to do right at the bat. Go back to Oakland, get that grunginess back in them. But I think that was beginning of the end for DeVante. I mean, Derek Carr gets shipped out of town, and then you get in a fight at Arrowhead with a cameraman. Man, see ya. But guys, DeVante Adams was traded to the New York Jets this morning for a third-round pick that could turn into a second-round pick, depending on playing time, yardage, playoff pitcher, yada, yada, yada. So we'll see. We will see if DeVante can actually right the ship in New York. Can